You are listening to the Happy, Healthy, Hot Mom Summit, where you will discover how to be fit, sexy, and energized, even if you are a busy mom. With your host, top female fat loss and hormone specialist, Dr. Michelle Sands.
Hey mamas, Dr. Michelle Sands here, and today I'm sitting down with my friend Heather Haynes. Heather is the owner of a successful website called Kula Mama. It's Kula. She is a family wellness educator and a holistic nutritionist. And what Heather is passionate about is raising the level of children's health using real food, green living, and natural remedies. She just loves everything that has to do with prevention and remedies for children's sicknesses and health. She has tons of information on her website. She's been doing this for years. She actually told me that her mom got her into this because her mom was totally into holistic remedies herself. So she's been using these on herself and her children. And it's just a great way to naturally and simply incorporate remedies into your lives for just your common ailments that children are going to come down with, and just to have a go-to medicine cabinet, if you will, full of holistic remedies. So stay tuned. This is going to be a great interview. I'm super excited about this because, as you guys know, I have a 9-month-old myself. So he is, luckily, knock on wood, has not been sick yet, but I know that time will come, and I'm going to look back to Heather and I'm going to reach out to her for her wisdom. So stay tuned and enjoy. Hi, welcome back to the Happy, Healthy, Hot Mom Summit. I'm your host, Dr. Michelle Sands, and today I'm super excited to have with me Heather Haynes. Heather is a family wellness educator and author, and she's just awesome when it comes to raising kids in a healthy way, giving them a great head start and using natural, green, holistic methods to make them as healthy as can be. So I talk a lot about getting moms healthy, and when moms get healthy, being healthy role models for their kids. But I'm super excited about this topic because I have an 8-month-old, as you guys know. And so luckily, knock on wood, he has not been sick yet. But I know that that time will come and I'll freak out. So Heather is the go-to girl in that area. So her website is Kula Mama, and she has all kinds of really cool information about health for you and your family. So welcome, Heather. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Michelle. I'm happy to be here.
I'm super excited to have you because I was just like, oh my God, when my son gets sick, I'm going to just freak out. Like, moms call me all the time, and I honestly, I'm not the go-to person for that. So I give them my best idea of what to do, and it usually works, but I'm so excited to have you as a resource now. So yay.
Thanks. Yeah, it always feels different when it's your own child that's sick, right?
Yes. So how did you first get into, I know that you're a holistic nutritionist, you have a master's degree in health education, but you could have gone anywhere with that. So what got you interested in natural remedies for children?
Yeah, good question. I knew before I even had kids that I was going to help children. Like, I just have always felt like that was my calling. That's what I'm supposed to do, is kind of help empower parents to start utilizing natural remedies, holistic health practices, nutrition, all of that. I grew up with a pretty hippie, crunchy mama myself. So my mom took us to a pediatrician and a naturopath.
Oh, wow.
Early age. So we were exposed to both sides of the coin. So when we would have, an ear infection or a fever, like, we would make 2 calls, and my mom would kind of take all that information in and make the decision that was best. She felt was best for us.
She was way ahead of her time.
She was really ahead of her time. She was the mom that was like sneaking rice milk into the milk container, trying to wean us off dairy at an early age. Like, she had some hits and misses in there, but she was always trying to kind of push the envelope and try to, do what she felt was the healthiest for us. So, as we got older, we started making those decisions for ourselves. And I have one sister, and we naturally, holistic remedies and holistic health really worked for us. We used homeopathic medicine as kids and teenagers and through my 20s. So that was, I grew up with that. So it was very natural for me to make that evolution as I, went to grad school. But I tell you, when I had kids, there's something very different about using it for yourself or talking to other people about their kids, and then, having your own kids and your own kids getting sick. And so, I can remember as a first-time mom having a lot of fear surrounded by, is my son going? I had a son first. Is my son going to get sick? What am I going to do? And there's a lot of anxiety and there's a lot of uncertainty around having your own child. So we ended up as a family when I have two kids. When my daughter was 1 year old, we moved to South America for a year and a half.
Wow.
And it was probably the biggest test, in my life. My kids were sick a lot. They had, and in the U.S., they weren't sick very much. When we moved to South America, our doctors, everyone told us, look, your kids are going to get sick. There's new bacteria. There's everything is new for the immune system. And they were sick a lot. And we ended up figuring out that we actually had a problem with our water filter on top of the, all the stuff they were being faced with. But I didn't know for 6 months, and my kids were sick. So I feel like I've used every natural remedy in the book almost, and you know what? They work. My kids, I was able to recover them from everything that they faced there. And, we continue to use them today. My kids are now 7 and 4, and natural remedies have always worked for us. So I'm really passionate about helping people. I know when cold and flu season comes around, as it is right now, people have a lot of anxiety about it. So, yeah.
Exactly. And you always want to do the best for your kids. So you don't want to, because of your ideals, make them suffer in any way. So you want to make sure they actually work. And so you're a testament to the fact that they do it, and I am as well. But okay, so everybody knows that I am all about preventative medicine and all about being as healthy as you can possibly be so you don't get sick in the first place. So what are some simple steps moms could take to get their kids in position so they don't get that sickness that's going around, or they don't fall sick?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think, first is just having an awareness about, what your kids are faced with. There's a lot of what I call immune system busters out there, and these are things that, really undermine our own immune function. Those are things like if your kids are eating foods that they're sensitive to and that, bother their tummy, or you're seeing, loose stools or eczema or any signs of inflammation, that's kind of a red flag for a mom to kind of look deeper into maybe what some foods that they might be eating that might be causing problems. Because anytime they're eating something that might be causing inflammation, that's affecting the immune system. There's some foods across the board that are kind of immune system busters, like sugar, and this time of year there's a lot of sugar around. And, in our house, we're not 100%, but we're really mindful, of how much sugar is coming into our kids' life. GMOs can undermine the immune system, genetically modified foods, dairy, pasteurized dairy for a lot of kids is a problem, gluten for a lot of kids is a problem. So just being aware of those sorts of things, that before you've even, started building the immune system, if you have those in your diet or your children's life, they're kind of undermining the immune system.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people know for themselves, adults, that they have to watch, either dairy or gluten or certain inflammatory things. But they have to realize their kids are just they're just growing, they're forming, all of their cells are just, developing. So you can be stunting some of that development. And then also, just when you're noticing those loose stools or, problems with their skin or, tummy aches or not feeling well, instead of covering that up with yet another over-the-counter remedy, understanding that is a sign to look into, why is that happening? And, that's what you're so good at is addressing that when it's happening instead of just covering it up and, continuing to go about your life the way you're doing it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's the body giving you messages.
Right.
Our bodies are always talking to us. I tell my kids all the time, our bodies are always talking to us. So it's our job to listen to what they're saying.
So true. And I love that you teach your kids that as well. That's awesome.
Yeah. The other thing I always teach them is our bodies always heal. And that's really, our job is to give them what they need. And so that gets them starting, to think about, well, what does my body need? Right?
And that's so empowering, too, for them to know that they will heal.
Yeah, they get scared, too, being sick.
Right.
So for them to know my body heals, it changes it for them. The perception of my kids don't usually get scared if they get a fever. Like they get that they're going to get better. This is okay. Like things are going to be okay. We just support the body and it's okay. And to date it has been. So I would look for the immune system some busters, and then I would working in some natural immune system boosters that kind of boost immune function. Naturally, that could be, probiotics, vitamin C. In the wintertime, you could be working in, immune boosters like ginger and garlic into soups and smoothies. Trying to get as many, eat real food in its natural state as much as possible. So you're giving the body as many vitamins, minerals, and enzymes so that the immune system can really do its work. And then what I really feel like, especially this time of year, families just being aware of your child's schedule and sleep.
Like making sure that your kids are like the missing link that everybody forgets about.
It can be. You can be eating all the right things and doing all the right things, but if you're sleep deprived and overscheduled and stressed, like that's, you've negated all the work you've been doing.
Yeah.
So yeah, being aware, we live in a pretty fast-paced world, and our kids are often overscheduled, and I know it's hard.
These days it's almost insane.
It's hard. It's hard. I know. But protect your child's bedtime as much as possible. Watch that screen time in the evening, so that they actually can wind down and fall asleep
and get quality sleep as well.
And get quality sleep, exactly. And then, just being aware of, what you're saying yes to, as far as your scheduling. Yeah. And I think if you get, your sleep, your nutrition, and you're listening to your child's, what your child's body is telling you, you've got really some strong pillars to create.
That sounds like an excellent foundation to make sure your kids are healthy and strong. Yeah. And so you mentioned your kids don't get scared when they get fevers. Well, it kind of made me chuckle inside a little bit because my mommy clients, like that's the thing that scares them the most. I get phone calls and texts in the middle of the night. I think my son has a fever. I think my little girl is coming down with a fever. I'm frightened. What do I do? So for the moms out there who might have that happen to them in the near future, what do you recommend for, like, I don't like to recommend the over-the-counter fever reducers because they're kind of harsh on the little system. Yeah. So what do you recommend? What do you do for your kids?
So the first, I think we need to reframe what we think of fever. Like fever is our immune system's way of working. Like it's an awesome sign that your immune system is working for you. And actually an ideal range for a fever is between 102 and 103. And for most moms, that's pretty it hits 101, 102.
Yeah,
and
over 101 is always like fire alarm.
So what I say now to my girlfriend, I get a lot of texts about fevers too, and I say, great, this is wonderful. Embrace it. Let the body do the work. The body is trying to heat itself up internally to burn out the bacteria and virus, whatever it is. When you bring that down with an over-the-counter fever reducer, you're getting in the way of the immune system. That's making it harder for the body to heal. And not only that, it actually because it really can't burn out the virus and bacteria, you actually can increase your child's risk of getting a secondary infection like a respiratory virus after, or extending a cough, or whatever it can be. So you really, as much as possible, keep your child, hydrated and comfortable, but let the fever do the work.
Yeah.
If your child you have your own mommy kind of internal barometer as well for when things are not right. If your child is having trouble breathing, if your child has a fever over 104, if you have a child that becomes non-responsive, right? Yeah. If your child becomes dehydrated, those are your red flags to go seek medical attention. But in general, for the most part, for the majority of people, a fever is awesome.
Right. It's so funny.
Doing the work, like let it go, keep your child.
Just let it run its course and keep them.
Let it run its course. The more you get in the way, the more problems, the harder it is going to be for your child to heal.
That's excellent. That's excellent advice. So fevers are good things.
Fevers are great things, and embrace them, especially when they hit 102. Go, all right, let's get this party started, right?
That's awesome.
You're always watching it, but really your body knows, the body knows what it's doing. Nothing happens by accident in the body.
Thank you so much. I love that. I love to celebrate the fever. So the other common thing I get is ear infections. So ear infections are so common in our children. And so what natural remedies do you guys use for ear infections?
I would say second to fevers. I get the most questions about ear infections because so many kids, get them. And there's a lot to consider when it comes to ear infections. Generally, a lot of kids are getting recurring ear infections. And for those kids, there's a different kind of set of underlying factors that you should probably look at. A lot of them have food sensitivities that are undiagnosed that are causing inflammation in the body. So that's something to look at. A lot of them are, have environmental sensitivities to dust or pollens that they might be reacting to. So that's something to look at. You also, what's happening with ear infections is there's also the propensity of your pediatrician or the parent watching this is to get antibiotics. And the American Academy of Pediatrics just came out with, in 2013, said, 80% of ear infections will resolve on their own without any intervention whatsoever. But I get it. When your kid has an ear pain and a fever, it is painful. So I think for ear infections in particular, there are a few natural remedies that can really help to comfort the child, to kind of give their bodies the chance to heal naturally.
A little bit of relief, right, while they're healing.
Yes, to make them feel better, while they are having this ear infection, so that they can the immune system can overcome it. Because if you're taking antibiotics, most of ear infections are actually viral, and antibiotics only work for bacterial infections. So when they're handing these, so then I get moms say, well, why does it work then when I give them an antibiotic? It's because it's never one thing. Right. Usually the virus is what triggers the ear infection, and then there becomes some bacteria that's in the ear canal, right? And so the antibiotics does actually help the bacteria in the ear, but the virus was really the trigger of the ear infection in the first place. And one thing to remember is that our kids can recover from bacterial infections without antibiotics. So it may take a little longer. So that may be a 10-day wait for your ear infection to clear up instead of the 24 hours that you would like it to clear up. But what you're doing when you use natural remedies is to protect, your gut, your digestive tract, which is where your immune system is. Yeah.
People are starting to understand. I think it's starting to become more like mainstream knowledge that people are starting to understand the connection between your gut and your overall body health. And also, so that's starting. But I still think that it's hard for most people who aren't in the health field to even draw that connection that earache could be, the root could be in the gut. It's still a little bit confusing for people, but you definitely, your gut is so important just for your whole overall health. So antibiotics just, they kill bacteria, so they kill both the good bacteria and the bad bacteria. Right. So if you don't want to kill your good bacteria, because that's what's helping your whole balance.
That's running your immune system. Yeah.
So it's true. So really, the ear infections will run their course, but so the couple of things that you can do just
in the meantime, yes, taking some immune boosters internally is always a great idea. If one of my kids comes to me with ear pain, I'm definitely giving a probiotic in the morning, and at night I'm giving them elderberry syrup, which is a really nice natural immune booster that you can even make at home for pennies. It's very easy. I'm giving them vitamin C. I'm also, if my kids have intense pain, you can use garlic mullein drops, where you can actually heat up a little bit of garlic oil. This only works for kids if they don't have ear tubes. If they've had ear tubes placed, you don't want to use this, but for any other child, you can put a few drops of warmed garlic oil. That helps a lot. But my favorite, which I've used with both my kids, is called the onion ear muff, where you cut an onion in half, you scoop out the middle, you heat it in the oven at 300 degrees for 10 minutes till it's warm, but it's not hot to the touch. Yeah. You wrap it in a cotton towel, and you place it against the ear. And the heat naturally helps with the pain, but also the steam from the onion is antibacterial too. Mm-hmm. So you're kind of killing two birds with one stone. And we have I remember one 24-hour period with my son, we cooked a whole lot of onions, but he was requesting them because it was making him feel better.
Oh my gosh.
he recovered fine. That helped him with the pain in the meantime. You can also use essential oils outside. We've used, sometimes there's some, it depends on what your child is dealing with. Oftentimes the eustachian tubes are clogged, so you can be using some essential oils that kind of help with that sort of on the outside, doing some massage. Some pediatric chiropractic care can help adjust and drain the ear canals. And also, we've had great luck with homeopathic remedies, but I do work with our homeopathic doctor for that. I'm not a homeopathist, so but I encourage moms to look into homeopathy and maybe work with a homeopathic doctor, because when you find that right remedy with homeopathic medicines, especially for things like pain, it can be really, really effective.
Yeah,
so
I actually use homeopathic remedies for my son while he's teething, and they work fabulously.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you seem to be just like a wealth of knowledge, and you have years of studying, and then of course your mom's knowledge passed on to you. But for moms who are they're very interested in what you're saying, but it's kind of overwhelming, like, to know what to use when. Do you have a place maybe they can start without being overwhelmed?
Yes, I do. I feel like you can always go to my website. That's what everything about my website is, Holistic Health for Kids. So you can find a recipe for homemade elderberry syrup. You can find healthy snacks there. You can find almost, a lot of natural remedy posts if you want to just read about your options. But I think generally the number one thing you can do is listen to your child's body and establish that relationship with your child. Establish that that feeling in your child that they have the capacity to heal, because that in itself, a lot of times all you need is just a little time to let the immune system do its job. And so often we're rushing to stop a symptom.
Yeah.
And often the symptoms, like in the example of fever, are actually our body healing. Even mucus, when it's coming out of the body, that's our body expelling bacteria. And when you take an over-the-counter medication to stop the mucus, you're stopping the body from doing what it's naturally supposed to do. So first I would just establish that understanding and work on it. It takes time to kind of, listen, wait, start listening. I would also be aware of all the immune system busters that I talked about. Start protecting your child's sleep. Look at the sugar intake. Start looking around. Are there foods that you feel like your son or daughter always gets a runny nose after they eat something? Those are clues for you. And then maybe just pick, a few boosters to work into your diet naturally that don't seem like a lot of work. You don't need to go stock 1,500 things in your medicine cabinet, your holistic medicine cabinet, right? You can, maybe you start making homemade soups with homemade broth. That's great. Maybe you start having green smoothies with lots of, kid-friendly smoothies with lots of live enzymes that help your child. Maybe it's just you decide you're going to make elderberry syrup and they're going to take it when they're feeling. Pick a few. Pick your favorites. Don't overwhelm yourself, because every little step that you take is a step in the right direction. You don't need to take them all.
Such a great way to think about it. Just start small, and that's when you one step better. And then once you get that down, start with another step. And the nice thing is, it's not just for helping your kids, it's actually helping the whole family.
The whole family. Everyone benefits. Yeah. Yes, it's not kid specific. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Absolutely.
So you have actually a really awesome free gift that you're offering to everyone listening today. It's how to stock a medicine cabinet holistically, correct?
Yes.
So can you tell us a little bit about that and where they can get it?
Yes. So I don't know. We'll probably put the link,
The link is actually going to be right below this video. So as you're watching right now, just scroll down and right below the video, you'll see it. And then it was also in the email that was sent out this morning.
Yes, great. So that link will take you right to a page where you can download it's my favorite, my favorite supplements and food boosters for boosting the immune system. So it's not just things you're buying for your medicine cabinet, your holistic medicine cabinet. It's also things that you're doing in your kitchen. So that would be something great to use. You're like, I'm just going to choose one this month. Right. Work on one until you have that, and then the next month choose another one.
That's awesome. That's a great place to start right there. So that kind of answers my question. And then once you get that down, or in the meantime, your website is, like I said, a great resource.
Yeah. Yes. Coolamama.com, and everything's free there, and there's lots of resources for families.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's so great to know. Well, thank you so much. It's just so much great information today, and I actually feel a little better myself for when little Paxton comes down with a fever.
You can have your own fever party.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure having you here today.
Thanks, Michelle.
All right, have a great day.
You too.
Bye-bye. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope that you received a lot of value out of this interview. I know that I did. I want you to open up to the possibility of making this new year the greatest opportunity that you have had so far to improve your life. This is about breaking out of paradigms. It's about learning the art of living. It is about honoring who you are as a woman as you discover who you are as a mother. It is about taking care of your body, mind, and spirit so that you can take better care of your family and be a shining example, a role model for your children so that they can grow up to be healthy, happy, and successful. I promise to continue to bring you educational, empowering, and inspiring content to help you achieve the body that you dream about and the life that you are meant to live. Stay tuned for more value-packed interviews, and be sure to check out all the resources on my website, metabolicmama.com. Until next time, wishing you a happy, healthy, hot day. Take care, mamas.